It's 2025, and yet there are still places in America where white people are quietly packing up and heading for the hills. Not because of hurricanes, housing costs, or hipster gentrification, but because the black population got a little too comfortable for their taste.
I love how you members of the MAGA cult always try to spin things to match your narrative. You know, the issue with these white South African refugees is not really that they're white, right? Because if they were white and they believed in equality and they believed in equal rights for everybody and they didn't want to take up all the resources for themselves and leave the black South Africans out of it, then there wouldn't be an issue with them coming here to the United States. But the issue is that they are racist, white South Africans who do not believe in equality. And we're already facing a crisis here in the United States where black and brown people are being discriminated against, but white people who commit crimes are being applauded and invited in.
Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, welcome back to the channel. Family, today we need to have a deep conversation. I came across something and I need black Americans to tell me if this is really happening. But the same thing, I have seen it in South Africa. Now, I want you to listen carefully to me. Don't listen with just your ears, but with your spirit, okay? Because what I'm going to break down is something that they will never teach you in school. They never teach us. They never did, and they will never teach us in schools or show you on the mainstream news. Why? Because the truth is shaking the very foundation of the Western world. And this thing is about white people fleeing, mostly white Americans fleeing. The reason why I've said I saw that in South Africa is when South Africa, is now rising and the power is shifting to black people, to black power. And when the power is shifting, the white South Africans, we have seen some of them are fleeing from South Africa. They are saying there is genocide and etc. But in the real sense, they are fleeing from the equality, from the equality.
If people want to leave South Africa because we're demanding our land, bye-bye. You are free to go. No one is holding a gun on your head. But we can guarantee you will come back because we are going to flourish with or without you. And let's tell you, we will not be like Zimbabwe, because ours is going to be done through the constitution and with the masses of our people on board. No blood is going to be split. No one is going to die. All of us, through the power of persuasion, are going to agree to amend Section 25 to allow expropriation of land without compensation.
So white Americans, they are packing their bags and leaving, mostly to some of the towns in the United States. And I'm going to tell you why they are leaving, why they are scared. It's not just about economy. It's not just about that Trump is is in power and things is going south. And it's not about the politics issue. They will tell you fascism and everything, but it's because of the unstoppable rise of black power. You heard me right. Because of the unstoppable rise of black power. Example is what happened in South Africa. Black power, or power is shifting. Black people are getting power in economics, in politics, in everything. So they are not good in this equality. The white people, it's not their problem, but they grew up knowing they are above, So when the power is shifting, it scares them. So some of them are fleeing away. And that's what I'm going to talk about. But before I go down on the video, I want to show you some few clips here that triggered my thinking about this, that white Americans are fleeing because of the rise of black power. Let's watch this and then we come back.
Do you think that the great USA evacuation could happen? And the answer is yes, because it is. There was a report that came out 3 or 4 weeks ago that actually talked about the fact that we have now seen a record number of U.S. citizens leave the country to move to Spain. Spain is now inundated with Americans buying property, moving over there, basically becoming expats from the United States. They wanted a better place to live, and they found it in Spain. We have seen other countries, other cities in other countries offering American citizens like, hey, we'll sell you this property dirt cheap if you want to move over here. You know, we've got these old villages that haven't been updated, but if you're willing to come over here, pledge an investment of, $50,000 to $100,000 into the property, we'll basically fast track you to dual citizenship or permanent legal residency. So other countries do understand, like, hey, Americans want out. This is our golden opportunity. So yes, I don't know if I would call it a mass evacuation, but a small scale evacuation has definitely happened, and the numbers bear that out. Now, where it becomes a real problem is with the brain drain, because we have also seen a record number of doctors, like regular medical doctors, like family doctors, flee the country and go open up practices in Canada. So we're losing doctors here in the United States. They're going to Canada. Some of them have actually gone down to Mexico. So we're losing doctors. Scientists, research scientists, both working for the federal government and working for universities here in the United States, they are now being poached by foreign countries. France has been at the forefront of that. They even recently once again extended their offers to scientists in the US that had been laid off by the federal government or the victims of budget cuts from the federal government, and said, come over here. We got state-of-the-art labs. We have jobs for you. We have research grants. We want you. We want the smart people. We want the people that are going to be developing the new cures for diseases. So if the United States doesn't want you, come to us, and we will protect you and take care of you instead of persecuting you and turning you into the enemy. So it is happening, and the United States is much poorer intellectually for it.
Americans are leaving America, and it is not for vacation. It's for survival. A growing wave of Americans are packing up, terrified by Trump's dictatorship, Republican fascism, and Democrats' capitulation. Interracial couples, LGBT plus individuals, people of color, and intelligent people in general are seeing their rights replaced with restrictions. In Ireland, U.S. passport applications hit their highest level in a decade, up 60% in just 2 months. France is seeing long-term stay visas for Americans up 20%. Portugal, Spain, UK, relocation companies can barely keep up with the demand. Traffic to Blacksit Global, which helps Black Americans relocate, surged 50% after the election. Some are leaving quietly, like a trans couple in Colorado, because Trump wrongly says there are only 2 genders. States are moving to ban gender care, so they're planning their exit. Google searches for how to leave the U.S. spiked after the election, and real estate deals for Americans in Spain surged before the Golden Visa program was shut down. European culture is different than American culture, and many won't adjust. And of course, Europe has its issues: immigrations, taxes. Putin expected to take Moldova and then Romania with his eyes on the rest of Europe for the new Russian Empire. But a possibility of another European war is a safer bet than staying in a country that is already a fascist dictatorship.
Europeans and Americans cannot live without Africa, but Africa can do very well without your interference in their continent. As soon as a black man decided to renegotiate the terms and conditions of business between us two, you are panicking. You can't even put food on the shelves in your supermarkets to feed your own people. You can't even provide power for your own people. Simple, basic needs. Why? Because you are used to manipulating and stealing from Africa. As soon as an African leader stands up and says something against you, you unalive them. Presidents like Muammar Gaddafi. Or you put sanctions on us, causing poverty, hunger, and death. Countries like Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. They are my neighbors. I know very well what you can do, Europeans and Americans. White people come to Africa, threaten our presidents into giving them what belongs to us. Then we as the people think that our presidents are selling us out. No, they are actually threatened They are afraid. For you to have a president who's going to stand up for their people, they know exactly what they're putting on the line, their life and the family too. White people are just used to taking. But funny thing, you can't get rid of all of us. We are a new generation that is not going to take nothing from you anymore. We are renegotiating and we are benefiting this time around.
Observation of the day. So I've been observing, like for the past few months, how people keep saying, oh, white people are leaving South Africa in droves, blah, 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 and making quite a big deal about it. The thing is, if you look at the rest of Africa, there are not many white people in the rest of Africa. In fact, there are very, very, very few. You can still find quite a few in Namibia and in Angola, but still, even from those countries, the majority of white people who used to live there have left. The rest of Africa, the colonizers have all left. So it is not a big deal, I think, that white people are leaving South Africa, because at the end of the day, they have probably come to the realization that Africa is not for them. They don't belong here. It is not their homeland. So everybody wants to return to where they come from. So I don't think it's anything unusual. Because we know the last place where you can still find colonizers and settlers are in South Africa. So if they are leaving, let them leave. It makes sense that they leave, right?
When apartheid ended in South Africa, many of the white settlers left. They left for a variety of reasons, but many of them left because they were not there for the love of South Africa or the love of South African culture or people. They were there for the love of domination. That is how an apartheid regime comes to be. And as we see the apartheid regime of Israel fall as well, it may very well not be that an expulsion of Jews would happen, but once people are on equal footing, many people who are supremacists won't want to be there anymore because they can't enact that supremacy in the same way. On this new moon in Capricorn, as the ICJ speeches have us all fired up with possibility, please envision a free Palestine where they have sovereignty.
Sorry. Welcome back. Now, my very good family, if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, kindly do that. If you're a new subscriber, please, I request you to subscribe. And I love you so much. If you are a returning subscriber, you have a place in my heart. You are going to heaven. Now, back in 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, we witnessed something. I'm not there, but I went back to the history and I learned about this. There is something that was called the white flight, okay? As Black Americans were building strong communities in the cities like Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, many white Americans did it is that they ran. When Black Americans were occupying these towns, many white Americans ran, okay? Not because of violence, not because of crime, but because they couldn't stand the idea of black success. How? Because the black success was just next to the door. They could not stand the idea that black people are having top political seats. They could not stand the idea that black people are owning businesses in front of them. They could not stop the idea that black people are now becoming CEOs right in front of their eyes, just right next door, that black people are owning properties, black people are owning houses, black people are doing this. They could not. Why? Because you see, when black schools started performing well, for example, when black schools started performing well and black businesses started booming and black people took control of the spaces, and that is when they got uncomfortable. They got uncomfortable because of why? Because They didn't want equality. They wanted dominance. It's not a bad thing. Because I will not say that white people are bad because they want dominance. Everyone wants dominance. Even black people want dominance. But if you want dominance, at least accept the equality. At least pay wages. Good. And I am seeing this in South Africa. It's happening. And that's triggered me and said, wow, I want to see if there is time white Americans or white people flee. And that's why I came to this story of white flight, you know. So here in 2025, guess what? It's happening again. It's happening again. But this time it's bigger and this time it's global because Europe is around the globe. So ask yourself, why now? And I was asking myself too, why is it happening right now? Why are so many white people or white Americans suddenly leaving certain cities, neighborhoods, even in UK? Not American only, even in UK, Britain are leaving their countries and even considering leaving the country altogether. Some of them are going to Spain and starting life there. Some of them are going to Italy, starting life there. You know, it's because of the black economic power. That's according to me. The rising in America of black economic power is giving them tension like never before. Black entrepreneurship is growing. Black tech is growing. Black influence in the media, music, sports, business, and political is undeniable. And we take, even in Africa, example here is in Africa. There's some leaders are rising. The white system is shaken. The Western power leaves. They flee. See what's happening in Burkina Faso. That's fleeing because the one who is in power is changing everything. Now, there's this town, I don't know it's town or a country called Atlanta. There's another one called Houston, and parts of New York and Los Angeles. These places have become the symbols of black success. And you know what? They can't handle this. Seeing black success, they can't handle this. Okay? Now, right now, they are starting to realize that they are no longer the center of the world. Africa is rising. The Caribbean is rising. Black Americans are uniting with Africans and Caribbean brothers and sisters. And that unity, it is terrifying. It terrifies the system. That unity alone, leave alone the excellence and the success. That unity alone, it is terrifying the system, you know? Because they have built the entire system, media, education, politics, to keep us divided. They have built the entire system to make sure that African on the continent doesn't connect with the African Americans or the African in Europe. But you know, their system is going down right now, you know? And now they see something we call global black power. I have proofs. I always have proofs, real life proofs, so that I don't want you to see that that in Swahili I say nakupoteza, that I'm lost in you. No, there is videos you have seen. Cities like San Francisco, Portland, and cities like part of New York. White population declining so fast. It is declining so fast. Even in the South, places like Atlanta and Houston, white residents are moving to rural areas. Why? Or even some of them are leaving the country altogether, you know? And don't be fooled. It is not because of crime. No. It's not because of crime like they will tell you. It is because that they no longer see themselves in control. Or they no longer in control. They see black families buying property. They see black-owned restaurant dominating. They see black tech companies, black investors, you know, black influencers changing the global conversation. Even in education, they see more black students entering law, medicine, and tech. So I'll say this. The power is shifting. And when the power is shifting, everyone is scared. The one who's losing power is always scared. And the one who's getting power is getting so much bold. And guess what? They should be. The one who are scared, they should be scared, because the power isn't coming from begging. It is not coming from asking, you know, for permission. It's coming from ownership. We own the power as black people. You know, we own it. From black people around the world are finally saying, you know, enough is enough. And things are changing very, very fast. Now, I'll say this. Africa is controlling more resources, and we are seeing the change in Africa. Africa is rising, the youth are rising. We are seeing the change. African nations are standing up against the West. You know, countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they are changing. Even in Kenya and South Africa, things are changing. People are rising up and they are demanding for respect. They are demanding for sovereignty. They are demanding for liberation. They are demanding to own their own property. We are seeing black Americans moving to Ghana. We are seeing them moving to Kenya and Gambia, South Africa, and a lot of African countries. And that not just for travel. It is what we call reconnection. So black people are reconnecting across the world. And that is what we call unity. And when we unite, it's creating chaos among everyone. So this means what? This means that black power is taking over. This means that we are taking charge. Originally what belonged to us. This is not about revenge. Don't quote this that is revenge. Even white people knows this. It's not about revenge. It's not about hate. This is about justice. It's about balance. It's about equality. It's about correcting the lies we have been told for generations. Okay? So family, the future belongs to us black people. Not because anyone gave it to us, but because we are taking it with unity, intelligence, and unstoppable pride. And the only people who cannot take things through genocide is black people, because we love each other, we respect. And that's why black people have been able to live with the colonizer, the former colonizer, sharing the same table, shaking them hands for so long, because black people never kept grudges. That's why Jamaica and Caribbean countries are still inviting white people. White people are still flocking Jamaica to have to enjoy, because it's not about revenge. It's about the balance. So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. And these cities that white people are moving away, they're not moving because of crimes. If it's crimes, it's everywhere. In white neighborhood, there's crimes. Black neighborhood, there's crimes. Brown neighborhood, there's crimes. It's because that for example, let me give you an example. When you are 2 siblings or 3 siblings in the house, firstborn, secondborn, and thirdborn, and then this last sibling, he got up well, buy a land, buy a car, marry, maybe have a business. And if the first sibling has not yet achieved something, there is some guilt he will feel. Maybe he will move out of the house because he'll be like, okay, I cannot be here. When? So that's what is happening. The shifting is good, the power is good, and the white people are my brothers and sisters, my white brothers and sisters. For example, the rich or the working class and the poor, black, white and sisters. We need to know something. We need to know that we have been living a lie that at the end, it will end. And when it ends, when we are still on the lie side, it will hurt us. So we need to wake up as everyone. Till next time, one love from Africa to the world.